Really, Blog Talk? Really? Ugh. I'll do it myself.
Everyone, stop! The show's about to start.
Good evening, everyone, and sorry for that little hiccup in Blog Talk Radio's technical, support. I don't know. It's been a while since I had to actually manually play our intro. Anyway, thank you for joining us tonight. My name is Kai, and I'll be your host. We're currently joined by my co-host, Logic. BJ's off tonight, and Char. She was doing so well. Char. Who knows where she is right now? She's probably going to be fashionably late. Tonight, we're actually taking your relationship questions. For instance, my ex-husband is now with someone younger and prettier, and my kids like her so much, and it hurts me that they like her so much. Would it be wrong of me if I didn't have my kids around her until they got married? Also, I think my boyfriend is checking out my teenage daughter. How can I find out for sure? And how do you know if your ex thinks about you? This and more questions coming from both being messaged into us on our hotline, which is 484-840-3627 if you wanted to send your question, and also coming from our Facebook group, which is Relationship Questions and Answers on Facebook. So, also we have a sponsor. Very good book, Where Are My Children by L.A. Davis. So we'll have the commercial for that later on. So how's everyone doing, even though it's just me and Logic right now? Logic? Anybody? Well, maybe it's just me here right now. Nobody loves me. Nobody cares. Anyways, I kind of found some stuff online that I didn't want to read on air because it was just so amazing to me. I found this article, I guess it's an article from 22words.com. And the article is entitled Times When Dads-to-Be Found Out They Weren't the Father. And I just thought I would kind of read some of these crazy ways people find out that they're not the father. Yeah. Because when I read them, it had, I think it was like, I don't know. Oh, yeah, I can hear you. There's Logic.
I was talking the first time. I don't know why you couldn't hear me.
Yeah, no, we couldn't hear you at all. But I was saying, so from 22words.com, there's an article that says Times When Dads-to-Be Found Out They Weren't the Father. And I kind of just I think there was maybe 20-something, maybe it was 22 because of the name of the website, but there was a lot of instances where the guy found out he wasn't the father, and it was just, it had my jaw on the ground. Like the first one, for instance. Worked in the Army hospital on Fort Lewis. A woman came in for belly pain, and we found out and told her she was 10 weeks pregnant. The husband at the bedside started laughing, grabbed his coat, and left the room, explaining to us that he had been in Afghanistan up until 3 weeks prior. He looked back at her and just said, "Well, that's that, Brittany." I always liked how classily he left her while she just silently stared off into space.
Wow.
Here's another one. I had a vasectomy. While chatting with the doctor, he told me about another patient. This guy had 3 kids and came in for the snip because he and his wife decided they were done having children. The doc opened up his sack and found nothing to snip. This guy was born without the ability to have children. The poor doctor had to explain to him what happened. Imagine finding out that way. And it's just a lot. You can go to 22words.com and just search the article, times when dads to be found out they weren't the father. I'm also going to put this on our Facebook, noconduct.com, our Facebook, No Conduct Radio, and our relationship group page on Facebook, because it was just some really, I don't know, I guess interesting isn't a good word for it, but it was some jaw-dropping stories, and some stories really had me feeling bad for the guy. And just like, how could women do that? You know, not saying all women are like that, but the women who did do that, how could you just be so callous? And then just, I guess you're sitting there hoping and wishing that the child comes out to be your husband, except for the one in Afghanistan. What the hell did she think was going to happen? I don't know. But anyways, I'll put that up later on our website. I mean, on our social media. So what I was asking before, Logic, is how's everything going?
Well, everything's fine. Yeah. Just same old, same old.
Did you see the storm we had today? It was just raining like crazy.
I didn't see it, but I heard it. I heard it. It sounded like a car accident.
You know what I saw the other day? I think this was earlier on in this week. I was driving and I just saw like lightning. It was like no thunder, and there was no breaks between the lightning. It was just a quiet lightning storm that I've never seen before. The only thing it made me think about was War of the Worlds, when the aliens were coming down, minus the thunderstorm. But when you saw the lightning, yeah, that's what it made me think about. It was just like the weirdest thing. And, if I believed in aliens, I'd think we were about to be taken over, because it was just lightning. But like I said, there was no pause. You know how usually there's a flash of lightning, then you pause, and then there's thunder. It's not like lightning. No, this one was just going off for like an hour, and it was really, really bizarre. Have you ever seen that?
Yeah, they was what they call an electrical storm. Not to get too technical, but thunder and lightning are not synonymous. That's just like the lightning is like ions and stuff like that in the atmosphere being charged and reacting to each other. And the thunder is scientifically, they say it's the cold air and the hot air colliding and expanding and contracting and all that stuff. So those conditions aren't always there. Like, they don't have to be there for the electrical storm to happen. So, like, you can see that kind of thing where they call it lightning snow, which is when it's a snowstorm and with lightning. That happens. That's something that
I've
can happen.
never seen that. That would be so bizarre.
Yeah, that's crazy looking. But yeah, you can look it up. It's out there. Well,
I guess call me stupid, because I always thought it's lightning and thunder together. I really didn't know there was, you could just have lightning with no thunder. I thought with lightning
you
and
can
thunder,
have thunder with no lightning. That can happen.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say with lightning and thunder, they usually tell you to, count the space between when you see the flash of lightning to when you hear the thunder, and that tells you like the number of miles away it is. So based on that, I always thought lightning and thunder are synonymous.
But that's it. That's if those conditions are, if they apply. If it's just a lightning storm, or electrical storm, then it's not the same thing. You would just be looking at the you know, electricity.
Well, if I liked lightning like that and I wasn't so scared of it, I would have thought that was really a beautiful show. However, that scared me. I don't like lightning like that. Neither do I like thunder. Neither do I like storms. So I was kind of scared, nervous.
Why are you afraid of lightning?
But because that crap could kill you. It could just hit you at any moment.
Okay.
You could be in the house. It could just come through the house and hit you. You know, it's no joke. No, you don't know.
But that's kind of true for anything. Like cars can kill you. I don't know. I just don't look at it the same way. I don't even like the things people say as far as the legend, like, oh, don't get in the shower when it's a lightning storm. I don't. That stuff means nothing to me. I'll take a shower. Like I don't even think about it.
I just heard that maybe a couple months ago. My friend said you're not supposed to take a shower while there's a storm with lightning. I was like, what? I come from the islands when there's hurricane season. I never heard that before. So
yeah, I think it's an old school thing. I think it was an issue at one time, way back in the day, but now with kind of like evolved. No, I don't want to say evolved, but updated building practices with houses. I don't think the same thing is a problem.
Because most houses, if not all, are now grounded, right?
Yeah, the grounding technology has changed a lot. So I think they build houses in a different way. But back in like the early 1900s, I think that was like a risk. Just like the phone. Like, don't get on the phone. Like phones back then were different. Now it's like it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I heard of phones. I heard don't stand near the window. Don't stand under a tree. My brother actually got hit by lightning. Obviously, it didn't hit him directly, but he got hit by lightning because we were leaving the pool. A storm had just suddenly rolled in, and we were running out of the pool, and he was taking too long. And we were originally under a tree, so our bag and towels and everything were under that tree. So he was taking too long getting everything together. And the lightning actually hit the tree, went through the ground, and came up through him. And he had this hole, it was just a little tiny hole. It wasn't like a gaping hole, but he had this hole through his arm. And he said like he couldn't move, like he was just stuck to the ground, like he couldn't move. And my mom was all scared, and she started yelling at him for taking so long. But maybe that.
So your brother was struck by lightning, and your mother then yelled at him?
Because he was taking too long. You know how some people are. Their fear manifests into anger. I don't know.
Okay.
You know how some black mothers are. You better not, if you get hurt, I'll kill you. If you do, you get kidnapped, I'll beat you, or whatever. I don't know. You hear a bunch of stuff. So
if you say so,
took
Chief.
too long. You've never heard that?
Never heard what?
Like a parent say, I don't know, if you.
No, I've heard that, but I'm just saying,
stop.
even if my mom was, that type of mom, but if I got struck by lightning, I don't think she'd have been yelling at me. I think she'd have been more like, oh my God.
I mean, obviously, you could tell my mom was worried. It's not like she was like, she was worried, but, once she got my brother away from there, yeah, she started yelling at him like, you need to move faster. Everybody else was gone. What are you doing? It's not like she just, immediately started slapping him around. What are you doing? She was concerned about his well-being, but she also had to let him know that everybody else was gone. Why were you still there? So, but anyways, yeah, maybe that's why I'm afraid of lightning, because I know what it can do. I don't know.
You think that it might be because your brother got struck by lightning? You think that might be a contributing factor?
Really?
Just saying.
I don't know if I was afraid of it before or if that was the reason, but I don't know. I can't remember if I was afraid of it beforehand.
I think it's safe to say that might be a contributing factor.
What about you? How do you view lightning?
I love it. I like watching it. I look at it as a natural fireworks or something like that. Like I really, if I can catch a good thunderstorm, I like to watch it and listen to it.
Seriously?
Yeah. Why are you saying it like it's weird?
So bizarre.
No, it's not. It is not weird. What are you talking about? People watch volcanoes erupt. I think that's weird because it's like poison gas and, fiery death coming, and people sit there like, oh, this is so amazing. I'm not one of these people that a tornado, like, oh, I want to watch. No, that's crazy to me when people get in their cars and, this is amazing. No, that's death. But a thunderstorm? It's the worst that could happen. Your power go out for a couple hours.
A lot more could happen.
Like what?
You could be struck by lightning. A tree could fall on your house. A tree could be struck by lightning and fall on your house.
Trees and storms are not synonymous. Again, you're talking about a tree falling. That's a different story. But, even if your house is hit by lightning, chances are you're not going to be electrocuted. Because, again, like we just said, the houses are grounded.
Yeah. I guess. I don't know.
I'm not trying to change your mind here. I'm just saying it's not weird. If you're not into it, whatever. But I wouldn't necessarily go off and say that's strange behavior. No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I guess to each his own. Yeah. All right, so I just heard from Char, and she's not coming in. Apparently she has some family issues, so I wish you the best with your family issues. I want to go ahead and talk about something real quick that was actually put on our Facebook, in our Facebook group. Now ask me why I'm not in our Facebook group. There it goes. Okay, so somebody posted in our Facebook group. So if you go to Facebook and you search relationship health questions and answers, that's our no conduct Facebook group. So somebody posted in there, they're asking where's everyone from, and she was saying, I think different cultures see relationships differently, which I completely agree with because, I'm from the Caribbean, raised in the mainland, but I've been around people from, overseas, like different cultures all my life. And I've seen that they do have different value systems when it comes to relationships. Like, personally, and some people are probably going to jump on me for this, but anyways, personally, I think I'm too Americanized, quote unquote, to be with someone from certain countries because of what they would expect of me as a woman. And I'm way too independent and too, what's the word I'm looking for, too opinionated for that. So, however, women in their country, that's what they're raised to expect from a husband, and they're raised to deal with that from their husband. But we're not raised like that in the United States. If your parents are from the United States, anyways. So let me give an example. I love watching 90 Day Fiancé, for instance. Actually, I've kind of cut down on it. I like watching the pillow talk. But anyway, there's this couple, Chantal and Pedro. Chantal is from Atlanta, and Pedro's from the Dominican Republic. And Pedro, his family and her family, they just completely just don't get along because they see everything differently. And her family, for the most part, her and her family, let me not put it just on her family, her and her family just kind of refused to accept his culture. Like, she wanted him to marry her, but, just accept my family and my culture. So they don't understand the differences. So there was a fight, for instance. There was an actual physical fight between him and her brother because he was talking to his wife, which is their daughter, and he was trying to get him and his sister to switch, or her and his sister to switch seats so that they wouldn't be fighting or whatever. And her mother butt in. And to me, that wasn't her place to butt in. He's talking to his wife. Yeah, I know that's your daughter, but he wasn't disrespecting her. He was just like, hey, can you please switch seats? Like that. But her mother was like, no. And so he pointed at them and was like, Well, in the United States, you put in your finger, like I guess you point, because he didn't even have it in their face, but you pointing your finger at someone in the black community means a fight, like it's time to fight. In the islands, it's not necessarily. It's just, it could just mean stop, whatever. Obviously, if you have your finger dead in their face, invading their personal space, that's completely different. So just that one thing led to a whole disagreement, a fist fight, and everything like that. And it's just, just so much more. So, like, this guy married a girl from Vietnam, and her parents, even though they were in poverty, they expected him to give them a dowry of $5,000 and to, buy a cow and kill a goat or something like that. So that was round up to $8,000 he had to drop, which I guess in the United States is similar to paying for a wedding, I guess. But you're not really giving the family a dowry. So, if in the United States, they think giving dowry is considered old school, which to me is the same thing as spending $35,000 on a wedding. What's the difference? I don't know. What do you think about this?
What do I think the difference between spending on a wedding and a dowry is?
No, I'm saying, do you think different cultures see relationships differently? Do you think there's a culture where there's a culture that respects relationships more? Do you think one respects it more than the other? What do you think about this?
I won't say it's respect. I would say that when you're dealing with third world versus first world, the value system is different. Most third world countries, they view girls as a detriment, and they're not maliciously like, oh God, I hate women, but it's like, if you have a son can potentially help you do, various degrees of manual labor. They can learn some kind of trade and go working and bring money back to the family. Even something as primal as protection. They could help protect the land or whatever. Girls are typically not viewed for that type of thing. So when families have a girl, and especially if they're lucky enough that she's beautiful, they look at that like, okay, somebody's going to see her one day, and they're gonna pay us. They're gonna, we're gonna have to say that she's obviously gorgeous and blah blah blah, so she's worth a dowry of at least blah blah blah, and that's how a lot of families in third world countries view their daughter. Not all, but a lot of them do. And it's not, and it doesn't have anything to do with specific races or religions. It's just what this situation is in third world countries. Tribal people do the same thing. That being said, I think that when you're dealing with a first world person, they would look at that like, I'm not doing that. Like I'm basically paying for a person to have a person. And that's, the what we value in first world and what they think of relationships in the third world is something that's going to clash when it comes to that kind of stuff. The difference, in my opinion, of weddings and dowry is a dowry is something that you're paying to their family, and it's not really to them, whereas the wedding is for the event of you getting together. So I could see somebody feeling some type of way about some woman's dad saying, yeah, pay me 20 G's and I'll get you my daughter. It's like, what? So, I don't know. I think that's the big difference. But as far as respect, people are scumbags wherever you go. People cheat everywhere. It doesn't matter. Right now there's some tribal dude running off with some girl and meeting them in the bushes and they're smashing, keeping it from their significant. It's everywhere. There's no avoiding that. There's no place where we respect relationships more than anywhere on earth now. It's just people got hoe in their blood and some people don't. Just depends. I think you got to get with the right people who have the right ideas and the right perceptions of loyalty, honor and respect and stuff like that. So,
do you think that, I guess, foreign women value their husbands more than American women? I ask this not because that's what I think, but because that's what you hear a lot on 90 Day Fiancé.
Well, it depends on where that foreign woman is from. I mean, just because you're not from America, no, that doesn't. You go to Canada, those girls will cheat on you in a heartbeat. You go to England, it's the same thing. Again, it's first world versus third world. If you got a girl that's from, what do they consider her? Third. Okay, Mexico. You go to Mexico and you go to Mexico City, them chicks, they're pretty modern. So it's like if you go down there and you get a girl, 9 times out of 10, if you you're not tip top, she finds another desperado dude walking around, she's going to smash him. It's over. There's nothing you can do. It is what it is, especially if he has a better situation. If she's a loosey-goosey like that, she's gone. Doesn't, even though that's technically a third world country in a way. I don't really view Mexico that way. I think there's pockets that are. But if you go outside of the major city to a smaller village and they have a more back in the day mentality where she's from in that region, and they're kind of, like money is not abundant. They're living very, I don't want to say primitive, but very simple. Where they still kind of maybe got to go down the road to get water and come back. Yeah, if you give this girl a house with running water and electricity and all, she's going to think she hit the jackpot. So, yeah, she may value you better because she's like, oh, my God, he's changing my entire thought process of living life. You know what I mean? So yes, you will be very valuable to her. As far as a guy, like if that's who you are, but does that mean people from Mexico are going to, value you more? No. It just depends on where they're from. Because, again, just like Eddie Murphy said, you can get somebody from, riding a zebra in Africa and bring them over here and you show them the good life. And once they get Americanized, all of a sudden, I'm not happy. You don't take the time anymore for me. So, again, it just depends on the person and where they're from and what they value.
I always wondered about that, like someone coming from a country where they had less and came and got used to here, because you do get used to places. Like at first, or used to places or things. Like at first, you're just like in awe about it and you're so thankful for it. But then after a while, you do get used to it. Look at everybody in cell phones. Like when I was in college, like 19, cell phones wasn't really out like that for everybody. You had to have money to have cell phones. But now look at us today. If a call drops, we're bitching about, oh my God, I can't believe this cell coverage. Like, you can do so much from your cell phone, but you're still ungrateful, So, I mean, all that to say that you get used to things. So I've always wondered about that, somebody, coming over to the United States or to wherever that's a first world country, and they came from like a third world country, and like give it like a couple of years, do they get used to it? And then they're just like, you don't spend enough time with me, or we should have a bigger house, or just whatever.
Yeah. I mean, it's the people being spoiled is a real thing. It really doesn't matter how poor they were. If you give anyone too much of something, again, depending on their personality, they could become spoiled, and this thing no longer means anything to them. I used to have that problem when I was younger, where I would get with girls and I would be really nice to them, and they never had it. Like, there's been girls that's never had a guy do certain things for them. They've never experienced it. They only saw it in like movies or a show or something, and then they, of course, would be, oh my God, I can't believe, blah blah blah, tearful, whatever. But then after a while, I would still get the funky attitude. You know what I mean? So it's like, now you've gotten used to having a great guy, and now you're starting to, well, I don't like the way he does that, or the fact that he has to blah, 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 starting to annoy me, or whatever. That's just people. If someone is a ingrate at heart, it doesn't matter how much you do or give to them, they'll still treat you bad.
I guess, yeah, you're right. I mean, the other things that I've seen is people coming from third world countries, and how you hear how they tell the tale of the United States over there. It's the land of milk and honey, and streets are paved in gold, and whatever else they think that the United States is. And they come over here, and the woman is thinking that she's coming to live Hollywood lifestyle. So when you come over here and they're moving into like a 2-bedroom apartment, she's like, what is this? Where's my Gucci and my Prada that I see on TV? I thought we were going to have a big house. I want a big house. Like, they don't realize that you still got to work hard for that stuff in the United States. It's not like you're just suddenly wealthy. I mean, obviously, in certain aspects, we're better off than a third world country. We have running water, we have indoor plumbing, food is readily available. But for you to think that you're coming up here and living like Kim Kardashian, that's kind of unrealistic. That's what I've been seeing also from from 90 Day Fiancé.
But it goes back to like you say, like what you're saying right now. It's the value. What is that person valuing? You know, so if people look at America and they think you're going to be driving around in, you know, luxury SUVs because all the cars are big over there, and you know you're going to have great food and a beautiful house and whatever. That they're already building their value system on material stuff. Versus another person who says, I just don't want to be in a country that's had war constantly and the government keeps collapsing and rebuilding and collapsing and rebuilding. I can't live that way anymore. You know, I don't want the threat of being snatched up in slavery if I get caught on the wrong road. I just want to go to another country that doesn't have that problem. They probably will thrive better because coming here, you know, there's racism and there's all these other darker sides to America that people don't really tell you. But once you don't really have to worry about being snatched up because some warlord is going unchecked in Virginia. You know what I mean? Like, that's not a thing here, you know, where it's just like a marauding group of soldiers killing people and raping young virgins in Texas. Like, that's not happening. So, might you get harassed by a white cop or get too much of your check taken out by taxes? Yeah, that's an option. But this other stuff, you'll be okay. But this other person, like you said, from wherever they're from, coming over and looking at the gifts that said guy, you know, gave them while they were in their country. Yeah, the exchange rate was crazy. So they're probably thinking, oh, God, this guy, he's an American and he's doing it. But then they get there and you're living in, like, an apartment in Staten Island. And it's not glamorous. It's just regular life.
Whereas the other part of it I've also seen is the guy, like you said, the exchange rate is crazy. So they're like spoiling the girl in her country, but they failed to let them know that in the United States they either don't have a house, they're living in their mom's basement or whatever, or they have a small one-bedroom apartment, or they drive a 1988 Toyota Corolla, but it's just because it costs less to buy you nice stuff in your country. Here I'm sending you nice stuff, and I'm flossing, trying to act like, you know, I am somebody. And then they bring the girl over here, and you're living in what?
And she finds out he's a schmuck.
Version of poverty.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So to me, that's, and then they're like, well, you should just love me for me. Like, I understand that, but you also started off on a lie. Like, you got me used to you getting me all of this stuff, and then I'm just supposed to just, oh, well, I should love you anyways. You know, you should have just let me know what the situation was here, what I'm coming into, and then I can make up my own mind whether I wanted to use you for money or I love you regardless. You know what I'm saying? And I hate when they bring these girls over here and it's like, well, you should just love me for me. Like, you kind of lied to her.
Well,
I mean, am I wrong?
They did. I mean, they absolutely did lie. You know, my thing is, I know people think I bash women, but my thing is just be honest about who you are. If you're a hoe, you're a hoe. Don't lie and act like I'm looking for a good man. No, you're not. You're looking for a dude with money, and you're going to smash your way into your dream life. That's what your plan is. You're a hoe. And that being said, men need to allow women to be hoes if that's what they want to be. But the thing is, don't spend your time building a lie about who you are in order to get this clear hoe to like you. You know what I mean? Leave that to whoever is her target audience. Leave that to them. And then my thing is, actually, instead of taking the time to lie and to be deceitful and to, save up for 7 months so you can go over there and buy a bunch of gifts like you're flossing, why don't you put that time into actually being a success? You know, because getting some mail order coochie is not going to solve your problems. They're only going to compound them. You know, because like you said, this woman is being misled. She's thinking, oh, he has his own house, and he's a businessman, and, you know, 'cause this is what he told me, and now, you know, he's coming over to see me, and he's buying me gold necklaces and clothes and blah, blah, blah. My life is about to be awesome. It's not going to continue there. So when they get there and you're like just a dude that cleans fish tanks, they're going to be like, what? You know, and when your apartment looks like basically the kind of apartment they just
they
left.
just came from.
They like, what was the point? I should have just stayed where I spoke the language, and you know, had the same life and just waited.
She had family support and all of that stuff.
Exactly. So my thing is, you got two options. If you know, if for some reason you cannot ever, in your mind, reach the level of making six figures or above, you know, because some people they can't. They don't have the skill set or whatever or opportunity to do it. Your best bet is to keep that person in whatever country they're from and just do it that way. You know, is it going to, be a weird and strained relationship? Definitely. But, you know, if you don't have it and you don't ever perceive yourself as ever getting to that level, don't bring her. Don't bring her to this country. If she's from Colombia, move her to another city and then send her money for a nice place and just go back as much as you can. You know, I don't know what kind of longevity it would be. Me personally, if it was somebody I knew, I would just tell them don't do it, period, and just take the time to build themselves. But, you know, some people are too old, it's over, and they don't want to accept it.
Well, I mean, why can't they just save money and go live over there themselves? Like I said, some people don't have the skill set. Like, you think of, I have a friend, and he's always talking about, oh, man, I would love some gorgeous blah, 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 blah. He's always talking about what kind of girl he want to have. But he has spent the past 27 years of his life being a security guard. And to me, I can't wrap my mind around that. Like, why? Like, you know what I mean? You could, if he went to the military, he got out, you know, I don't understand how I'm just going to be a security guard for the rest of my life. That's crazy to me. So if he met a girl, like say he went to Panama or something and met a great chick, she really liked him, she was beautiful, you know, but he lives above like a Chinese restaurant, literally, you know, he can't take her back and she's going to be happy. She's not going to be happy. So, but at the same time, he doesn't have a skill set that he can go to Panama and live a life because he's a security guard. How much are they going to get paid in Panama? You know, he's going to be a schmuck in Panama just like he's a schmuck in America. Now, if he took time... he could save money from here and then go over there because, like you said, the exchange rate.
It's only going to get you so far, though. That's like the exchange rate is like 3-to-1. So what do you got? What? If he saves up for 3 years, what does he have? 6 years of living, and then what? He's back to square one. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to have a skill set. You got to have something. You know, open a business or whatever. And if your business in America is making money, then that money is coming into your bank account every month, and you're able to live down there. So this is what I'm saying. You can't spend a third of your life just sitting on your ass and like, yeah, you know, I'm gonna no. You have to get a house or something, rent it out. You got that money coming in. Take a loan on that house once you pay it off. Buy another property. Kind of snowball your way into, I don't know, 5, 6 properties paying you rent. You can go live somewhere like a king for the rest of your life. You know what I mean? Have somebody else managing it. If something else goes wrong, they go out there and patch up stuff like that. But you can live life. But you can't waste your life and then still expect to win the race. You can't. That's just like these women that bring nothing to the table. They're ugly, they're fat, they got kids, they got debt. They're out there giving a coochie to every Tom, Dick, and Harry that comes along. And then they're talking about, how many lawyers and CEOs live in this city? You could what? That guy is not going to want you. No. It's ridiculous. Now, to the woman that doesn't have sex with every guy that she meets, that takes care of herself and has a good job and she's in great shape, yeah, she's in the top tier of the choice meter for these kind of guys. But you? No, you're not. Stop it.
You have issues, Logic.
No.
Actually, that's
listen,
in about 2 weeks. So let me see. I have the date on here. So June 6th, we actually have a show based on Logic's questionnaire, which is what do women really bring to a relationship? So we're asking women, what do they feel like they bring to a relationship? So if you want to put in your 2 cents on what you feel like you bring into a relationship, and this is a question asked by Logic. So if you want to put in your 2 cents on what you feel as a woman you bring to your relationship, whether it's dating or marriage or whatever, please send us a message at 484-840-3627. That's 484-840-3627. Or you can email us at noconductradio@gmail.com. So on that note, actually, we're going to go ahead and go to our commercial now. And when we come back, we're going to be answering your relationship questions that you went ahead and so nicely sent in for us. And we will probably not so nicely answer it. Anyway, we'll be back after these messages.
Now, as you know, 2017 was one of the worst hurricane seasons in history. Some blamed the erratic changes in the weather patterns on climate change, global warming, or Mother Nature getting herself back into balance. But what if the weather pattern had nothing to do with global warming, nothing to do with climate change, and nothing to do with Mother Nature? Instead, it was for the revenge of crimes committed against humanity centuries ago. In this tale of historical fiction, L.A. Davis creates a story of imagination that explains why hurricane season 2017 was so destructive. The book, Where Are My Children, by L.A. Davis, can be found on Amazon for pre-sale until June 2nd. Can you believe it's been ranked number 1 in 3 different categories while still in pre-sale? That's crazy. Also, you're going to want to follow Miss Davis on Facebook because on June 1st, she's going to be doing a live launch along with giveaways. So I know you're going to ask, Kai, how do I find out more about this? Well, you can find out more about where to purchase Where Are My Children by L.A. Davis and how to take part in the free launch on our website at www.noconduct.com. This is an amazing book, and I wouldn't miss out if I were you. It's called Where Are My Children by L.A. Davis.
And we're back. And didn't that sound quality? I don't know what I was doing. I don't know what I did different. I recorded it as I normally would, but that sound quality was horrible. But anyway, the book is Where Are My Children, and it is by L.A. Davis. You can go out to our – why can't I speak now? You can go to our website, www.noconduct.com, and find out more about how to become part of that giveaway on June 1st and how to order the book on pre-sale right now. and I'm very proud of her. Not saying that I know her. This is just a sponsor, but I know how hard it is to get your book ranked on Amazon, and her book is actually ranked number 1. And I saw it for myself. Her book is actually ranked number 1 in 3 different categories on Amazon right now. So if you look on Amazon, I think the one that is coming up for me is number 1 new release in history of West Africa. So that's the one I could see just off the bat. So, go ahead and check it out. I think it's a great read. I think the cover photo is like, it basically says it all. It's Africa with an angry face, grr. And I think you should just go ahead and check that book out. Actually, Logic, I think it'll probably be like right up your alley in books that you like to read, because you like history. So I think you should go check this out. You like Black history and you like history.
I think Black history is just history.
I was going to wait for you to finish what you were saying. Whatever you were going to say, I didn't know what you were going to say, but then that was going to be my next comment. Like, why do we separate history like that? Like, I don't ever hear it saying, like, Hispanic history or Asian history. Why do we have history and then Black history? Oh, my God, I was just about to say that. I'm not even joking.
Well, I mean, obviously the reason why is because they act as if, Black people in this country is something separate, even down to a historical documentation context. So it's racism, same thing it always is.
Yeah, unfortunately. But anyways, since it's just you and I guess let's get into these questions. So I think I'm trying to see if I should go to the questions that's on our Facebook page first, and then go into the questions that were emailed to us. Whichever one I can get to the fastest. I guess that's what we'll do. All right, so on our relationship group page, which I said again is Relationship Health Questions and Answers, one of the questions that I put out there was, and this came from a listener actually, this question was to the men: who comes first to you, your wife or your mother? Logic?
Hello? Yeah, you want me to answer that?
Of course, this was to the men. BJ's not here, so it falls all on you.
Oh, I thought you were just saying what they. Okay, my mom will come first.
Your mom comes before your wife?
Yeah, I mean, like, in what context are you talking about? Like, if my mom's, like, put it this way, if my mom's sick or something like that, and she, can no longer live on her own, and I'm with I have my girl, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to move my mom in, and she has a problem with that, I'm not putting my mother in a home or something like that because my chick has a problem with it. You know what I mean? So if you're talking about something like that, yeah. Now, if you mean I'm sitting down at dinner and my mom calls me like, you need to come here and take my trash to the, okay, and I'm jumping up and jumping out and into the car. I gotta go. No, that's ridiculous. So, it just depends on what context you're talking about. I know some people that they have a kind of a strained relationship with their mother now because of the woman in their life, and that to me is idiocy. Like, why? Why would that be? Tell your chick to fall back and shut up.
So my question would be, what if your wife didn't want your mom to move in with y'all, and the only alternative was either going to another family member or, what do you call it, the nursing home? You said you're not putting your mom in a nursing home, but how would that dynamic work if your wife didn't want your mom to move in?
She's just gonna have to cowboy the fuck up and deal with it. I don't. To me, it's a non-issue. You know what I mean? It's like it would be like if, let's say, I fell in love with a girl, and she has a brother or a sister or something that's slow. You know what I mean? And then her parents died. So now she is saying, I want my brother or sister to live here. Now I have to live with a slow person that might freak out with noise or whatever things come with this person. And she's like, well, I'm not going to put them somewhere where I don't know if they're going to be mistreated. I'd rather them be with me. If I love her, I'm going to have to get over that and then deal with it somehow and say, okay, all right, well, they can't come in this room. Or, like, I would have to find some way where I could maintain my sanity. And she would also have to be realistic and understand that that's a lot to deal with, especially this is not my brother or sister, you know. So to ask me to do that, I'm obviously willing to do it because I love you. So don't get an attitude when I don't feel like dealing with it sometimes, and I'm like, I gotta go. I get, you know. You have to understand what comes along with certain things that you are demanding in a relationship. Does that make sense? So, like, if I know my mother's going to be living there, then I have to do everything I can to where it's going to impact my girl at the very least, like the lowest possible denominator, you know, because that's a lot. It's a lot to ask. That's not her mother. That's my mother, you know. So, you know, an old person that's going to need help or whatever, or if she's going through Alzheimer's or something and she's getting violent, you know, whatever it may be, I have to do my due diligence to make sure that that's not going to adversely impact the person in my life. You know, I can't just sit around like, why won't you just help me with my mom? I don't understand. Because now you're getting ridiculous. Now you're asking this person to do more and give more. And if that's your mother, if she irritates you sometimes, what's going on, well, what do you think a person that doesn't have that emotional connection to that person is going to feel?
Yeah.
I think some people get ridiculous of what they expect in a relationship. You know what I mean? Like something, again, you take women that have kids. I want my kids to have a great relate. Like, yo, that is not his kids. So if he is like, you know, I don't know, acting whatever, as long as he's not outright abusing these kids, you can't start getting irritated because you made a decision to lay with who you wanted to lay with and have these kids. So if somebody is not, you know, jumping straight up and being Mr. Rogers, you can't get an attitude about that. You know, you have to do as much as you can to make that transition as smooth as possible. And that may include you realizing that one of your kids may be an asshole, and you have to start kind of tailoring their little attitude that they have in order to make things a little easier.
I don't know. I mean, I guess in a way of, what are you laughing at?
Nothing. It's just funny to watch mothers squirm when they hear that kind of thing. Go ahead. I'm listening.
I mean, I'm not squirming. I'm just trying not to take away from the question because the question was wife or mother. But, yeah, I definitely have thoughts on, you know, what you said. Because if I'm getting with a dude and I already have a kid, and you're just like, well, sometimes, you know, you got to understand this. But to me, that person made the decision to get with me and my kid. It's not like I just sprang the kid on you. So, you know, it's just, and then,
how does
I
that
mean,
apply
I guess I
to the
agree with
mother?
you. No. I was saying I wasn't trying to take away from the mother or the wife question. That's why I was saying, but you were saying,
Okay.
it's funny to see mothers squirm.
Right.
So I was explaining that I wasn't squirming, but I was trying not to take away from that question. So, but I was going to say, but also, yeah, there are children who are assholes, but there are husbands who are assholes too. So then you just have the mother in the middle. And what is she supposed to do? I don't know.
I think, well, of course, I'm not saying that there isn't men out there that are, again, being equally ridiculous. I don't feel like dealing with kids. Well, then why did you get with a woman that have kids? It doesn't make any sense. But again, you gotta, taking it back to the male or the bride thing. If you want a woman that's going to be beautiful and is going to bang your brains out, then you have to be realistic. That's typically not going to be a woman that is going to be cooking and cleaning and doing all this other stuff. You have to be realistic of what you expect in a relationship. You can't have it both ways. So women tend to say this kind of stuff all the time, like, would you put your mother before me? In certain aspects, yes, I would. But in other aspects, no, I wouldn't. It depends on what you mean. What do you mean? I'm not going to say F my mom because you got an issue. I have a friend right now. He regrets his actions with his mother because she died 10 years ago. Was it 10 years ago? What year is it? 2019. No, 12 years ago. And he was in a relationship with this girl at the time, and his mother would call him a lot, but he would, like, a lot of the calls he would ignore because it was causing arguments between him and his girl because they would be chilling or whatever, and the mom would call a lot. And then she died, and they broke up eventually. And he realized now that his mother was more than likely calling a lot because she got old and she was starting to get scared. And, she would call mostly at night and stuff like that. And, his father at that point had passed away. And he regrets not taking her calls because he knows that probably she just wanted somebody to talk to feel safe. And he ignored that because of the chick in his life giving him a little funk. And that's where the problem comes in, where men are not strong enough to tell the woman in their life, no, shut up, or no, you're not going to tell me or dictate how this is going to go. This is what I'm doing. Deal with it or walk. There's moments you can't get back, and it's the same thing with women. You have to be willing to let the man in your life walk away if they're mistreating you or your children. Because there's moments you won't get back. Your kids are not going to understand whatever feeling you were having. They're just going to know how it was affecting them. And that will send them off into a tailspin or a snowball effect, or unfortunately in his case, his mother died. So now there's no way he can right that wrong. And he's guilt. He has nothing but guilt now when he thinks about it.
Does he take it out on not beating his wife or anything, but does he take it out on his wife?
Who? Take what? What do you mean?
That he wasn't able to talk to his mom.
They broke up. They're not even together now.
Oh, they're not.
You know what I mean?
Good Lord.
So he's like he's just sitting around, and he doesn't like thinking about his mom because it makes him think about that, and he starts feeling horrible, But it's because he had a hot chick, and he didn't know how to tell her. Like, listen, this is my mom. I don't know what your problem is, but you're going to have to work through that because I'm not going to ignore my mother's call.
Yeah.
That's to me is like, why would that be an option? And mothers can be a lot, I'm not going to say that they're always just some cool characters that aren't ever going to do anything that's going to get on. They're going to get on your nerves, especially if you're their son and you might be their only son or they have nothing but sons. Yeah, they're going to be a lot sometimes, and they're going to be old women who are going to want you to, hey, there's a sound in my roof. I want you to come over and tell me what you think it is. And, oh, God. All right, I'll be over there tomorrow. You're going to go over there. It's probably going to more than likely be nothing. And, you're going to have to sit with your mom because your mom's an old lady now, just like she had to sit with you when you were shitting on yourself or scared of a clown on TV. It's like you have to think of these things, and getting old is a bitch, and when you're young and taking care of kids, you're not thinking about it, but then one day you wake up and you're 60 or 70 and you're getting it's hurting. Certain things are hurting in your body now and you're realizing, oh my God, I'm going to die soon, and there's no one around. I'm in this house by myself, and you start calling your kids, and your kids, I don't have time. I gotta go. You're just sitting in the fucking house by yourself, scared. That has to be terrifying. But you can't get so wrapped up with the whoever's in your bed at the moment that you're doing this to this person that did everything for you when you couldn't, Now, if your parent was a scumbag all your life, then who cares? Let them ride. But, that's exactly what they did. Don't let people talk you into, like, oh, you only get one mother. Listen, screw him or screw her, because when you were a kid and you needed them to stand up for you, they left you out in the cold. But if they were a, relatively decent parent and did everything they could for you, don't be a scumbag.
Yeah, I agree. And this is coming from a mother who has a daughter who wonders if the daughter's just going to be like, well, it's my family. I have to be with my family. So, let's see. Obviously, I am so, not prepared today. Have you ever had just one of those days? Next question. Okay, so I don't know if I brought this one up. This came on our did I bring this up? This was the 17th. I don't remember. So anyway, this guy posted on no, I couldn't have brought this up. So he posted on our relationship help question and answers. So his question was, we're not official, but she saw a text in my phone of me flirting with another woman. My world is upside down because I care about her a lot. I will always be faithful, but I don't know if she will forgive me. So
I think we covered that last week, didn't we?
Did we?
Yeah, I think you mentioned that, and I think we said something
No, we couldn't have, because this came out on I think I probably told you, but this came out on the 17th, which is a Friday. We couldn't have covered that.
Oh, okay.
So basically, with this one, okay, this is my point of view. First of all, y'all aren't really in a relationship because you said you're not official, so I guess y'all are just dating. But at the same time, if you were getting to the point where you wanted her to be the one, because obviously if your world is turned upside down, then you wanted her to be the one, why in the world were you flirting with somebody else? At the same time, how did she see a text of you flirting with somebody else and she's not even your woman? Like, why is she on your phone? So there's so many questions here for me. And again,
it's never a good idea to start a relationship with trust issues.
But I mean, but again, like I was saying, but they weren't official, as he puts it. But I would have to hear the other side of the story. Like, why is she feeling betrayed? Were they not official in his eyes, but they were official in her eyes? Like she thought they were. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's way too vague. And then furthermore, if they weren't official, was it because of him or was it because of her? Because you have some girls out there that don't want to be official, but then they want to see if you're talking to other people. Like, it's just crazy. Because guys do it too. They'll get mad at a girl for talking to another dude. I mean, I don't even know if it's playing game. It's just some people are greedy where they don't want to commit to you, but they don't want you talking to someone else. That happens on both sides. Men and women do that. So there's a lot that needs to be explained of why they were not official. But yeah, it's way too vague. But either way, if you weren't, and you're not just lying to talk to make yourself seem more sympathetic. Either way, if you weren't, there was no reason for her to A, check your phone, or B, if she did, have something to say about something she saw. You can't, like, how? Why? That doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Yeah, the whole post is shady, in my opinion. It's kind of shady. Anyways, and then I don't understand, and I guess women do it too, but I don't understand guys like that. Like, they'll cheat on you or flirt with other people, but if you find out, then they're all hurt, or if you do the same thing, then they're all angry. Like, that I don't understand. Like, why, if you're doing it, why can't I do it too? You know what I'm saying? Why are you laughing?
No, you're right. It's funny. It's really funny to see that reaction. I had a friend years ago that he had a wife. He cheated on her. Ever since I've known him, he's cheated on her. And me along with his brother, we've told him, you got a good woman. Like, why are you even, but some people are just imbalanced in that way. But he found out that she was talking to some other guy. And when I say murderous, like, he really was like, I want to find this guy. I can't wear, you got to help me find out who the. What are you talking about? You've cheated on her no less than 14 times. How are you this mad that she's talking to a guy on the 15th time she's been cheating on? You can't be serious. And he was dead, like, bloodshot eyes. He wanted to find this dude and destroy his family tree. It was the weirdest thing in the world to me.
That's hilarious.
To be that possessive, but of someone you're cheating on. It's crazy.
That's hilarious. I saw that on this show, and I can't, like, as you're talking, I'm trying to remember what show it was. But I saw that on this show. This guy was steady cheating on this girl. And instead of leaving him, I don't know why, she ended up cheating on him too. And he was just like your friend. He was livid. Like, how dare you do this to us? You ruined this relationship. And I was like, what? I wish I could remember what show that was on. I can't remember. But that's what I'm saying. I don't understand it. That's basically how my ex-husband was. He was always cheating, and then he would always accuse me of cheating. I'm like, I'm not doing anything. But I remember there was this one guy at my job who liked me, and I told him, because I usually tell people because I'm an idiot. But I told him, and he actually almost ran this guy over with my car. I had to, like, pull the wheel for him not to hit the guy. And I'm like, what are you so mad at? You're like actually getting pictures and text messages and taking people this place and that place. Like, I don't understand your anger here. It just doesn't add up. I don't know.
It's possession, like I said. It's just possessive. You know.
Well,
this
why
is mine.
you can be possessive, like you could just not cheat and then be possessive over the one that you're with, like.
Well, I
not
mean,
give them a reason to want to go somewhere else.
That is possible, but you're talking about someone who's self-centered. And like, if you're selfish and like you could be selfish and possessive. You know what I mean? Because you want everything that you want and everything that you feel you have, you don't want anybody else to have it. That's a real thing. You know what I mean? You ever see a little kid that has a bunch of toys and then some other kids come over and they're playing with a toy, but then they notice the kid is playing with some other toys, they stop what they're doing and go grab that toy and then go back to like, it's like you weren't even thinking about that. Why would you? That's the same thing, like just in an adult form. You know, these rich billionaires who are still concocting sneaky ways to screw people out of money and destroy the environment in the process to make a buck. It's like, you're already a billionaire. What more could you? But it's that mentality of selfishness, greed, and all of that, possessive. All of that stuff is all in the same wheelhouse. So, yeah, you can have a woman out there that's, ran around like a nut and had babies all over the place, but then doesn't want her husband that she settled down with to care about his family members. You can have a guy that is a serial cheater, but the minute his girl finds a guy attractive on TV, he's like throwing stuff against the wall. Like, you're actually banging people. She just said, this guy's cute on TV. What's the problem? Not in my house. It's crazy.
All right, so next question. Okay, so the headliner. My ex-husband is now dating someone who's younger and prettier than I am, and my kids actually like her very much, which makes me sad. Would it be wrong of me if I didn't have them around her until they got married?
Yes, if you're doing it because they like her. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But like, if it was for any other reason, like you're worried that this person is going to like do something, or then you can. Or if it's a moral thing, like, I don't feel that my kids should be watching their father in a relationship where he's not committing to a woman. Yeah, you can not have your kids around them for that. But if it's specifically because she's young and beautiful and they like her, yeah, you're being very ridiculous.
So what I think about that is, first of all, I don't really think your kids should really be around anyone until you're like really, really serious about this person, which means you really, really know this person. With that being said, being that you're divorced, you would speak with your ex-husband about that and hope that he really knows this person. But I mean, when it's his time to, I guess, have the kids at his house, I mean, you really don't have control over that. So, also, if you, like Logic said, if you don't want them around your children solely because of jealousy, because clearly you're like, she's younger and prettier. Well, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. I mean, younger, obviously, that's fact if she is like 1-2 years younger than you, but prettier, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So she might not be prettier than you. You're just attributing the prettiness to probably she's younger and maybe has a tighter stomach than you or something like that. But to me,
sounds
that
pretty to
the
me.
way she's shut up. The way she's describing the other woman is just jealousy. She's younger, she's prettier, and my kids like her. I mean, your kids like her. That's something that you should be happy about. Can you imagine if they're with a stepmom that's just like the Cinderella evil stepmom? That should be something that you're happy about, that your children like her. Usually if children don't like somebody, it's because of a reason, like the person has done something to them. So you know this person is not mistreating your children or anything. So it seems like you just don't want them around her due to jealousy, which is not a good reason to me. I think you need to take care of your mental health, worry about yourself. If you think she's prettier than you, then you need to do something about it, which means you need to go to the gym, eat better, whatever you need to do to make yourself feel pretty again. And basically worry about your kids when you have them, and worry about yourself and get yourself a guy. That's what I think. Next question. I think my boyfriend is checking out my teenage daughter, but how can I know for sure? Well, if I even had a question, I'm not even going to go even further than that. If there's a question, we're done. That's just the end of that. Even if he wasn't, if I just have a question. But that's what I'm saying. Even if it's not, if I just have a question, then we're done. Not based on the guy, but it's more about why would I put somebody through that? You know what I'm saying? I'm constantly watching you, constantly watching my daughter. That's going to be stress on everybody. Why would I bring somebody else into that stressful atmosphere? And then, even if it wasn't in my head, why would I even, if this is a question, why would I even remotely have somebody around my kid like that? You know what I'm saying? So if it's something that, like, I saw him looking at her a little bit too long, or while she was doing yoga, he's, like, checking her out. Like, if I feel uncomfortable about it, then it's done. That's just it. It's over. Why am I even, I think my boyfriend's looking at my okay, bye. So either way, it's done. If it's in my head, it's done, because I shouldn't be selfish and bring somebody into that drama. And if it's happening, if it's not in my head, if it's actually happening, it's done, because why am I going to put you in my daughter's life? That's just me. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, ultimately, you do need to break up, because that's going to be torture for somebody, especially if they're not doing anything. It's like, now you got to keep dealing with this person and their manic nonsense and watching you. You know, it's going to be offensive that you keep catching a crooked eye from this person, you know. Every time you're in a room with her or something like that, it's just, yeah, you got to go.
Yeah. All right. So next question. So we need a Char for this question here. If a guy splits the bill on the first date, is it bad that I tell him that he can't afford me?
If he splits the bill?
Yeah, like if he decided he was going to split the bill on the first date, is it bad that I say that, you can't afford me? And I guess that's the end of their date.
Yes, because you don't know that he can't. You're assuming that he can't.
And see, this is why we need Char, because in this term, my mind kind of agrees with yours, because my thing is, totally split the bill. I don't know you. I don't know how far this is going. I've read stories that girls go on dates just to use guys for the food. They weren't even planning on staying with the guy or whatever. So I'm not paying for freeloaders. But if I was a guy, I wouldn't be paying for the first date anyway. So And if that's all you were going on a date for, and the way you perceive this guy is he can't afford you, because the first time y'all went out he asked to split the bill, then you have unrealistic standards anyway. Like, I guess you want me to foot your life, which that's not what kind of relationship, as a guy, if I was a guy, that's not what kind of relationship I'm trying to get into anyway. So in my opinion, it's bad to tell it. In Logic's opinion, it's bad. I don't know about Char's, though. She might not say it's bad, but I can't speak for her, so I don't know. Next question. How do you know if your ex thinks about you? Why would you care?
Yeah.
Like, they're your ex.
There's no way to
Go
know.
ahead.
I mean, just to answer the question, there's no way to know, because if they call and come around, you don't know what their motivation is. I mean, they could just be bored, or wanting the easy lay or something, and you don't know. There's no way of knowing. And if they don't call and they're not around, you don't know that they're not thinking about it. Could mean that they're not thinking about you, but it doesn't really necessarily mean that. So the question you should be asking yourself is, why do you care? If this person is your ex and the relationship ended for the best or the better of the situation that was happening at the time, then you have to accept that and move on. If you keep thinking about the past, it's just going to stay there in the present.
I mean, maybe she's the one who got broken up with, he or she. Did it say? No, it doesn't say gender. So maybe he or she is the one who got broken up with, so they're kind of stuck to the relationship.
It doesn't matter.
But yeah,
if they broke up with you, you have to. That person lets you know that the idea of being with you was something that was repulsive to them in some way. That's the way you have to think of it. So you got to move on.
I mean, I can dig it, but it's like, I guess it depends on how much that person loved the other person. It could possibly be hard for them to just move on, They're probably still in the phase where, I don't understand why we're not together. We should be together. Maybe if I do X, Y, Z differently, blah, 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 blah. They're probably still in that phase. But you shouldn't be, like Logic said, you shouldn't be stuck in the past, and you shouldn't be wondering if your ex is thinking about you. If your ex is thinking about you, more than likely they're going to call you.
No, that's not necessarily true, because if he or she was the one that was doing something wrong that caused the relationship to be a problem, and that person had to leave for their own, quality of life, then if you know this and you're thinking about your ex and you're wondering if they're thinking about you, then it would behoove you to fix whatever the problem was. If the problem was you, if you, were cheating, or if you had anger issues, or you had a substance problem, or whatever the case may be that caused this person to leave, or, following the theme of people with kids. If you had kids, but you were one of these armchair parents where you let your kids run wild and it caused stress to the relationship, fix the problem. Fix yourself, and then go back and call your ex. Don't sit there and just wonder and hope, maybe one day they'll call. No, because if it was you, fix it. And you go and put the legwork in to get this person back. They don't owe you anything.
Well, that's it for today's show. That's all the questions we got to. We do still have some more. As usual, we always have an overabundance of questions. But we'll be back here next week, right here on No Conduct Radio. And next week we're actually talking about weird stats, like how often do you shower? Do you wash your legs when you shower? Do you use a washcloth when you're bathing? These are the crazy things that I found out on the Internet, and you'll see the percentages next week of people who do and don't, and you're just going to be as shocked as I was. So next week we'll be right back here on No Conduct Radio, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Thank you for joining us. Peace out, everyone. And there's no Char to give her crazy goodbye.